Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. This is Energy and Gaming. A little bit of introduction. This is my first ever upload on YouTube. So if I sound nervous, if I stutter, or if I don't have a lot of things to say, please forgive me because I'm not very used to doing I'm not used to recording myself and talking on a microphone and then and just giving commentary. I'm pretty quiet in real life, and in real life I'm also pretty nervous. So, but hey, I love to play games. I love to talk about them. And I figured, so why not play them, record them, upload them on YouTube, and maybe I have some people to watch my content, and we can all enjoy together. Talk about the game, talk about the gameplay, and just overall have a fun time. So anyway, enough of the introduction. Today I'll be playing Suzerain, and for any of you guys that doesn't know about Suzerain, it's kind of like a interactive fiction novel type of game. So if you guys are familiar with Telltale games like The Walking Dead, or any kind of visual novel games, or any games with a lot of choices, a lot of reading in general. This is Suzerain. Suzerain is that type game where you are basically playing as a president of a fictional country called Sordland, and as the president, you make big decisions, you make choices on how the country should be run and operate, and any kind of choices, minor decision you make can have a huge impact on global scale. So yeah, I played the game before. I played it when it first came out. Before it came out, I played the demo and I really loved it. I love the complexity. I love the historical aspect of the game, because the game borrow a lot from real world history. So it feels very real, and that's why I really like it. And the game's pretty deep. It's not as simplistic as most games. There's a lot of different factions, different people vying for power, and as president, you need to navigate through all of that to maybe lead the country to a better place. Overall, great game. Now I'm playing this again because of the 2.0 update that the developers just recently updated, three months ago, and the 2.0 update has a lot of new changes, and apparently post 2.0 update they're gonna have a DLC right here, which I will buy to because I want to support the developer, and plus I want to play more of this world. So yeah, I haven't played the game since the 2.0 update. I want to keep myself very blind. I want this to be a whole new experience. And yeah, so let's just play it and then just show you guys, and let's go and let's see what are the new changes in general. I'm just gonna say 2.0 new. Yeah. And you know what? Be generic, maybe 2.0. So yeah. Republic of Sordland main story. Government, presidential republic, population 37 million, economy in recession, regional influence, major powers, starting date. So President Rayne has been elected the fourth president of Sordland amidst a deep recession, demands for reform and external pressure. Okay, so all this is new. On the old update, it doesn't have this introduction page, and then yeah, I was trying to click and see if there's any, if they give us any info here. But anyway, must complete manual disable top mode. This mode disable manual saving and enables achievement. So this is basically Iron Man mode. So yeah. So as I can see, Sordland, the beginning of the story is in a recession. It's still a major power, but it can be. It has the potential to become a world power, depending on how you play the game. But yeah, and the game started in 1954, so kind of in this period, this is within the game, similar to the real world. Like, starting a period where the Cold War is happening. There's in this world, there's fictional USSR, and then there's fictional USA, and then Sordland is kind of in between of the struggle between those two major powers. And then Sordland also have like a lot of external enemies. Like you have Roomberg up here, that's an enemy of Sordland, and all its neighbors here all have like different interests, and like Lesbia, Voxland, Agnolia, Wayland, like all of them have like geopolitical interests on just trying to one up each other in general. Yeah, I just want to start the story. I'm pretty excited. See what the changes are. You are my enslavement and my freedom. You are my flesh burning like a raw summer night. You are my country. Nazim Hikmet Ran. So they updated the character origin story. So in the beginning of the game, you have to pick like your origin background, like your starting point. So all these options determines your income within the game, like your starting income. So in this game, I'm just gonna say we came from a middle income family. So parents named you Anton. As the only child of a diligent civil servant, you lived quite an ordinary childhood. Life was not bad. You were lucky enough to attend a well-known public school, but frequent fights broke out at the Rayne family home, which made you feel uneasy. The year passed. 1923, September 9th. During a history class at school, the bell started to ring unexpectedly. You heard a loud commotion outside. As everyone tried to figure out what's going on, the principal announced the historic revolution. The kingdom was no more. The Republic of Sword was born. Don't really know you. See, history class at school. Well, I'm just gonna roleplay a little bit. So if I'm, say, let's go with a loud commotion. Check it out. So if it was me, outside, I would be worried because it's a huge commotion. So that's why I would pick. After graduating, you passed the university exam with high marks. You had the opportunity to choose between several studies you chose. Well, all these choices do have an impact on the game itself, because just to spoil, it's not really a spoiler, but it's like each of these choices have an impact on how like your president can changes the law of the country. So for example, if you say if you want to go a dictator route within the game, if you pick law at the Horsford State University, it's easier to persuade the Supreme Court judges to pass a dictator constitutional change. But I don't know about economics. I don't know if it change. I don't know if it helps with the negotiation with Agnolia. Maybe it helps with like negotiation with like foreign countries, but I'm not sure what this choice leads to. History, and I'm not sure. Yeah, these two, I'm not sure what the outcome of the choices are, but I know for the first one, you want to go and become a dictator, you need to pick this one because it helps you pass it helps you pass the constitution to have more executive power. But I'm not gonna go with a dictator route on this playthrough. I'm just gonna reform the country into a democratic capitalist country. So I mean, that's how I think that would be the best outcome. So I think, in real life, I got a history major, and I really like history, so I pick this option. So during the first year, you attend a lecture with David Wissey, a teacher and mentor from university. He is the son of the first president of Sordland, the revolutionary Arthur S. Wissey. He was a well-known diplomat from the foreign ministry and the son of the president. After observing the whole in silence, he explained why realpolitik is important for a successful foreign policy. He argued that strategy based on practical and material factors would be much more successful in reaching Sordland's ambition. Can't speak. Ambitions. Sorry guys, can't speak. So David was basically saying that ideology doesn't really matter in world politics. It's basically real politics, true politics. So like countries, they make alliances based on the benefit, based on what kind of benefit they have. So for example, let's use a real world example. So the Ukraine current issue right now. The US can say that, oh, we're helping Ukraine because we're supporting democracy and we're trying to stop the evil dictator Putin. But the real geopolitics of why the US is helping Ukraine is helping Ukraine by indirectly weakens Russia. Because as the war between Russia and Ukraine escalate, Russia is weaker, and the US doesn't need to spend a single soldier on Russia's soil, and it also helps some European country to join NATO. So in a way, helping Ukraine is beneficial to the US in the long run in terms of foreign politics, because it helps them gain new allies and weaken their enemies. Not necessarily, the US doesn't help Ukraine out of ideology, not out of their kind heart. They're helping them because it's real politics. And this is what and David's saying that so yeah, I agree in principle. 1927, May 22nd. Soldiers entered the campus in the evening ahead of the first election. Many were in shock as the uniformed men created a security cordon and started arresting the teachers. A group of students started gathering in protest, along with your best friend Peter Beckton. You decided to... if it was me, I would avoid any confrontation. So... You heard a loud announcement that echoed through the campus. General Lutheran declared martial law in order to restore the administration. Please stand back and disperse to your rooms. You quickly made your way towards the dormitory, avoiding the scene. Yep, you did exactly as they say. As you entered the room, you heard the screams coming from the outside. It was me, I would bury myself under the sheets. I'm not trying to get myself killed. The scream echoed. It was a gloomy ear. The coup split the students into two groups and caused frequent fights. Torture and imprisonment of any opposing voice became a daily routine in Durham, the second largest city in Sordland. You didn't want to stay idle and decided to join. If it was me, I would join human rights group. The group heavily protests against the deteriorating human rights situation in Sordland. It contributed in thorough discussions on how to protect and expand freedoms. In one of the meetings, Peter Beckton introduced you to a classmate of his, Monica. You were immediately attracted to. For me, I like a woman that's intelligent because it's more fun, Because if she's just, because I think intelligence is very attractive because, it's easy to have a conversation with, a very smart person. Not only are you learning from each other, but you also you can have a lot of discussion about things and talk a lot about, things that a lot of people could talk about. But like if, a girl that I like is just beautiful, and she's pretty boring, and there's no point in being attracted to her. That's what I think. So yeah, I say her intelligence. She mentioned to you that she was a volunteer for the Swedish League of Women, an organization campaigning for women's rights. You told her you wholeheartedly support her cause. Yeah, I support women. Yeah. 1927. I mean, at this time in our real timeline, it's also when the first feminist movement started gaining traction, like the movement for the women's rights to vote and all that stuff. So in this game, it's also kind of the same period of time. But I would say Rayne, Anton Rayne in this game is, a pretty big supporter of feminist value. So I say I pick one. So the politically charged environment led you to join it. Well, so these two groups, the Red Youth is the socialist group, and then the Young Swords are the nationalists, right-wing nationalists, and then you have left-wing, radicalists. Me, I'm more of a moderate, in real life, but I think the best way to navigate this situation is, not pick a side and try to get the best from both sides and work together. So I'll be a neutral. 1928, June 2nd. The radio relayed that the Communist General Rickert surrounded Lutheran and his troops, demanding their surrender. They refused and heavy fighting broke out across the country. He just couldn't believe it. The army was fighting amongst themselves. Sordland plunged into chaos. The class escalated into a full-blown civil war. The horror made you isolate yourself for a while. Monica helped cope and love grew between the two of you. However, it was a difficult time for love. The chaos had to end. 1929. Charismatic Colonel Talking Soul orchestrated a sudden attack on the capital where the Lutheranists and Rickertist forces were battling each other. He defeated both, ending the war. A new constitution was written and the military government began effort to restore stability. Many people saw the colonel as a savior, he formed the United Sordland Party and ran as a presidential candidate in the first ever single party elections. Well, if I put myself in Anton's shoe, you know, I would vote for the USP because you live in a country that never held any election. It was a monarchy, but then this is the first ever election, and this is also the man that helps stop the Civil War. So I feel like Rayne would vote just for that, because like the country went through all that chaos, the monarchy was overthrown, Talking Soul helps end the Civil War. So I mean, if I was in this world and if I was Rayne, I would vote for USP. 1939 June, USP won the election by a large majority. The military government announced a 4-year restoration period to transform to an entirely civilian government. After graduation, you kept seeing Monica. You were both interested in marrying and starting a family. However, a letter arrived from the military calling you to fulfill your compulsory service. It was time to serve your national duty. 1930, February, Berkshire region. A devastating civil war broke out in the neighboring country Wayland. This quickly turned to a proxy war between regional and world power. A distinguished major, Joseph, I don't know how to pronounce the I. I'm just gonna say Joseph. Lancashire ordered you to lead your squad on a border patrol mission. It was a very cold winter night when you began marching out of Gumrin outpost. You could see your breath. After several hours of marching through the snowy hills, distant noises were heard. Visibility was too low to confirm the source, so the squad crawled forward in a formation and found a spot to observe. A group of refugees had made it beyond the border fence. This is a tough choice because, I mean, if I was in this situation and I'm in the army, so I have a direct order to not let any refugee pass. But that would be, I would feel bad for the refugees, because if I let them pass, that would be insubordination, and I may get court-martial, I may get dishonorably discharged. But I mean, what would I do in this situation? I mean, honestly, like in this situation, I would let them slip through, because they're gone all that way across the border, and they just want to live a good life. So I know I'd be very sympathetic to those people. So I would let them slip through and face the consequences. But that would be me. I'm probably too nice, but yeah. After patrol, Major Lancashire arrived with anger and immediately relieved you of your command, calling you a disappointment. Yep. See, like that's what would happen, like in real life. Like if I was in the army and I disobey an order, like one of your squad member reported your actions. See, one of my members snitched on me after several months of scrubbing the floors as a punishment. So scrubbing the floor is not that bad. Like that wouldn't be as bad. Like getting court-martial or dishonorably discharged, that I think that's worse. But just scrubbing the floor, I don't think it's that bad, honestly. Your duties ended and you went back to civilian life. 1931 July, Holdsford. You and Monica decided to share your lives together. After receiving the blessing of her parents, a ceremony was held in Holdsford. During the same year, you work hard to secure a high-paying job within the governing United Sordland Party. It was much more difficult to start your career on good foot because of the refugee incident, but you still managed. So yeah, you know, in real life, if there was like this kind of incident, it would kind of like mess up any kind of like political career that you may have in the future. But I mean, it could be a plus too, like, you know, because I think having this can be spin as to say you are a humanist. You know, you can paint yourself in a sympathetic light as a politician, like. So this is like two ways. So like if you like say pro-immigration, you can spin this incident to go your way. Or if you're like anti-immigration, you could also spin this incident. It could be spin against you and say that you are ruining the country. So I mean, this refugee incident is very much like in our real life, you know. So as you can see right now with the border crisis, you know. So what would I do in this situation? And if I were to serve the government, I would I wouldn't want to change the country for the better. Like, if I were to be in the government, if I were to be a politician, became the foreign policy assistant to one of the more experienced members of Assembly. He worked long and hard, reviewing dozens of foreign policy plans late into the night. You were climbing the ladder. 1933. Talking Soul gave amnesty to the remaining factions of the Civil War and chose de-escalation and appeasement. The institutions and symbols of the former kingdoms were slowly replaced. His government launched several new initiatives, such as citizen-funded bills program to revitalize the economy, a social labor initiative to help rebuild and improve society, and a large dam projects to solve the energy crisis. The first multi-party elections in the history of Sordland were held. So was elected once more. Okay. So decision to give amnesty of him. So pick. I mean, this is a smart choice because he's ruining the country. He gave amnesty because you know the factions that were at war, most of them were probably bureaucrats, politicians, people of power within the country. So by giving them amnesty, it's a way to not escalate the conflicts any further, because you know after the Civil War you need bureaucrats to come back and work in the government. You need, you know, the people that have power to reinvest in the country, and you know it's just a better, you know, it's just a smarter way to recover instead of say retribution or purges. So because if you purge, you know, the nationalists and the communists in the country, then you wouldn't have anyone left to kind of run the country. So you know you kind of need to kind of have a appeasement policy at the end, so to help the rebuilding effort. So yeah, and he kind of basically launched a infrastructure like kind of like initiative, like build roads, welfare programs, you know, just to pump the economy, get start moving. So yeah, I think that this is a smart choice from Seoul himself. So, and he was elected, as you can see, very popular, you know, choices that he made. 1934. So, the preparation of a comprehensive trade agreement with Agnolia was occupying most of your personal time. But your significant contribution to the trade talks triggered an invitation to meet President Talking Soul himself, who offered you a key position. You were to become the youngest member of Assembly. You know, if it was me, I accept right away, because I feel like there's a lot of, I mean, either way you have to accept it. I mean, even with doubts, of course, like any not that, any offer being given is always, there's always a catch to it. So it doesn't really matter if you doubt it, because it's politics. You give and you receive. So 1938 June, rising career. As the youngest MP, it was difficult to connect with the influentials in the circles. You needed allies, so you brought on Peter Beckton as your right-hand man. The birth of your son Frank provided a brief moment of joy and relief. If it was me, my family's more important. I mean, even in real life, my family's very important. So I would not let work affect me. So if I was Rayne, if I was Mr. Rayne here, I would, spend more time with my family and sacrifice work. 1941, rising career. During your absence, Peter Beckton found trustworthy contacts and strengthened your position in the party. At the same time, President So increased his authority. Over the years, his growing ego started to cause strife within the USP. The cracks began to show. Time of change, 1945. So barely secured a majority in the election against the opposition leader. Over the next year, the Swedish people grew increasingly discontent with corruption and worsening quality of life. Meanwhile, calls for a united Sordland party Congress became louder as a leadership struggle started to brew. So has been winning election, like 5 elections. As you can see, like he's been ruling from say 1929, 1945. So that's 16 years of continuous rule by So. So it can lead to corruption and that's why you kind of always need some kind of term limit for the politician, because the longer they stay in power, it's easier for them to become corrupt with power and they want to hold on to that power. So despite being very popular in general, and he made some good choices in the beginning of his administration, can be corrupt. So long he stay in power. So I'd say I wouldn't support the president, because opposition is building up. The wind times has changed. The wind are blowing in a different direction. So I would say I join the internal opposition. You gave your support to Iwo Alfonso, a reformist and talented business magnate who was the main contender for party leadership. Meanwhile, in a desperate effort to secure votes before the Congress, President So was meeting party members one by one, but he didn't approach you. The Congress was nothing short of impressive. The banners of the United Sordland Party were decorating every possible spot. Thousands of influential political figures, lobbyists, and benefactors gathered for this turning point. The voting for the party leadership began. So this is the opposition leader, Iwo Alfonso, talking So. Within the game, Iwo is kind of useless as president, but I'd say he's worse than So, because at least So was competent and he knew what he was doing. Iwo, I don't know what he was doing, because he just made a lot of bad decisions. He was basically a very weak president in general. But to roleplay, if I was Rayne at this time, Iwo was my only option, and I haven't seen him become president, so I would vote for him. So But if he had like future knowledge, he probably wouldn't vote for Ewell. He probably vote for So instead. The efforts bore fruit as the contentious leadership vote was won by Ewell Alfonso. During the Congress, So announced he would retire from politics at the end of his term and appointed Alfonso as vice president. He knew the structure he had established was to stay. The country had become increasingly authoritarian. What happened? So, a month later, her daughter was born. Monica named her Deanna. She motivated you during a tumultuous period in your party. As the VP and the leader of the USP, Ewell Alfonso began dismantling the old organization and structure established by the USP, such as the State Educated Corps and the Sordland State Corporation bills. General election were approaching. The United Sordland Party was under new leadership. So Ewell is basically deregulating state-owned enterprise, like state educated corps, state corporation bills. I have mixed feeling about deregulation. It could work in a sense, but you have to be careful on what you are deregulating. Like, because certain things, I think certain things shouldn't be deregulated, because if you just base everything, like let's say Social Security, that's a state, that's a government program. But if you make it private, it could go pretty bad. Like if the stock goes down, then Social Security value also goes down. So I don't think that's a. So I think certain institutions can be deregulated, but I think you have to pick and choose to be smart about it. And there's consequences on what you deregulate. You can't just like deregulation, just deregulate every single thing, and then the economy is gonna be magically improve over time. So I don't think that's a very realistic view of things. So I'd say if I was Rayne, I would still support him, because I don't know what's I have faith. If I was Rayne at this period of time, 1946, he's the first president since So I'd say he's a new guy, and maybe I would still support him. During the general elections, the main opposition leader was embroiled in a sex scandal with his secretary. He was replaced by the more popular figure, Franz Richter. But the damage had been done. A new economic policy and the extensive privatization program proposed by Ewell Alfonso secured an election victory for the USP. Over the following years, do your best. The presidency of Alfonso saw many bold reforms in government, law, and advancement in liberal democratic values. We value your support throughout. However, due to infighting and disorganization, continental economic tensions, and fast-track privatization, it was followed by a severe economic recession. The other parties announced their bids for the 1953 elections, but the unfair election system hammered opposition efforts to campaign. I'll be worried about the economic recession, because if there's a recession, then any candidate that the party proposed, they couldn't win the re-election. So if you want to win re-election, you need to have a good economy so that people can vote for you. If the economy is bad, it tends to affects election, like sway voter opinions. Like in real life, we see with the 2020 election, with the lockdown and COVID, that Trump would have win, but because of COVID and the and the economic downturn, it changed who win and who can lose very quickly. Rise of Rayne, yes. With Peter's help, your presence in the USP crew, the two of you worked long nights together. He flipped opponents to your side. You became the face of a new wing of the party. Step by step, with adequate planning, your wing took over the leadership as President Alfonso lost control of the country. The moment to make a move had come. I would advise him to step down, because I want to bribe. Because I'd be the same corrupted. Because I can't stand on moral high ground saying that, oh, Seoul is corrupt and I want to improve the country. Therefore, I also do the same thing and bribe. So I think this is hypocritical if Rayne does this. The same for number one, because that's just kind of an attack on your boss, essentially. So I would say in private, I would advise him to step down. I think this is the right thing to do. So 1953, Rise of Rayne. Listen to your advice. Alfonso conceded the leadership struggle, and the party eventually voted you in because of your indisputable influence. Following this, you announced that you would be running for president in the general elections, with Peter as your running mate. It was your turn. Election campaign. After visiting every city and town during the campaign, you made a speech on state television. You promised to enact democratic reforms. People are tired of empty promise. We need fundamental change in our constitution and government. A solid and transparent democracy awaits us, brothers and sisters. New constitution and a new age is upon us. The broadcast ended. On election day, millions went out to cast their votes. It was time to face the truth. Alrighty. So you have character customization page. So this is same as pre 2.0 update, but some UI changes, and then it looks nicer. Easier to look at. But yeah, I really like the OG design. So I'm just gonna keep it because this is just iconic Rayne. Like you can do I'm just gonna show you guys that you can change the suit, change the office, but the OG designs, it's the best. So I'm not gonna change anything. I'm gonna keep it as it is. So like today, 1954 USP party finish. Yep. Campaign promise. As President Rayne made consequential promise to the people of Sordland to gain their votes in 1953 election campaign, consider these commitments carefully. The country itself, I would promote a market economy, diplomatic leaning, the global rivalries between capitalist Acacia in the west and the monarchy of Rumburg to the north, and the communists United Quatoni in the east are intensifying. Sordland has the potential to allow others or lean towards neutrality. I will align with the West. So, because this is a capitalist playthrough, so I will align with West. I may make another playthrough where I play a leftist playthrough. So, but that's later on. But right now I want to align with the West. So immigration policy. In the last 5 years, blunders, Weshnik, and Agnolian immigrants flocked to Sordland due to relaxed immigration laws enacted by the former President Ivo Alfonso. As a result, these tensions are causing requests for political solution. I think immigration is good. I mean, immigration in the short term may cause some like stability issue, but in the long run, the more immigrants you have, it helps improve your economy. This is true in the real world, and because immigrants tend to have higher birth, higher like because let's say a country has like strict immigration laws, they tend to have pretty low birth rate. Like you can see with like Japan, for example, like the country is very homogeneous, like just Japanese, very low immigration rate, but in return they have very low birth rate, so the population replacement is not at a good level. But let's say the US has a very high immigration and illegal immigration rate, so so they don't have to worry about the whole population replacement issue, but too much immigrant can cause stability issue in the short run, because think about it, you have a lot of people moving in at the same time, so it can affect society and change society pretty drastically. So I understand why some people want tougher immigration laws. I totally understand this side argument, and if and I'm pretty neutral on either side of the argument, because it really depends on where the situation is. Let's say you have rampant stability issue in your own country, and then and there's a lot of immigrants coming in. I think it's just gonna affect the country in a bad way. But if you say your country's economy is developing, you have a strong economy, and a lot of people want to move in, become citizen and contribute to your country, then yeah, I think a relaxed immigration law is pretty helpful in the long run. So I'm gonna pick this. So in my term, I want to focus on I think I want to focus on healthcare. So healthcare is I think it's pretty a big issue, so I want to focus on this. So oh shit. Yes. Okay guys, I think I'm gonna stop my recording here. So it's been a pretty long video already. But overall I just finished with the character creation, and and I like a lot of the new changes that were made post 2.0 update, and I hope that you guys enjoy my rambling. I hope and bore you guys to death. But yeah, I catch you guys in the next video. Alright, see you guys.